Hello, welcome to Life on the Road. And of course, I got my lovely wife in the studio
Hello.
slash office.
Or life off the road now, I guess.
Well, we still got guys on the road.
Sure do. We're just not on the road.
Very true.
So, where have we been? What have we been doing? Update. People curious if we're still alive and going? Answer is yes.
Absolutely. This has been nonstop, 2 years in the making. You guys remember, we obviously have been on the road for many, many months getting this thing together, realized we could build this up. We had a lot of owner operators contacting us, wanting to work with us. So, that gave us the ability to kind of step back off the road, obviously, and do what we like doing best. We like this side of the office. So, we want to give a little update, and we also want to talk in this video. I guess we could make it two-part, but I guess we'll make it one video. Kind of what to look for if you're an owner-operator wanting to lease on with a carrier.
Yes. So, I guess, update. Where have we been and what have we been doing? Working.
When we're done working, we usually find ourselves
Working some more. So, this side of things definitely very, very time consuming. We put our everything into this. Justin and I were very much into every detail of day to day, from booking the loads to relationships with brokers to all the behind the scene DOT, required things, and just very time consuming.
very, very time consuming. I mean, Carrie takes care of more of the bill side of things, and I take care of the FMCSA. I mean, I got a rule book over there. I'm constantly looking through, rereading, trying to really develop and get the best understanding of what I can to help this business succeed, but also help my owner operators succeed. So I mean, it's very time consuming. This isn't a easy job. I mean, you got one guy out there on the road, and you're your own boss and owner operator. It's a little easier, but when you got to constantly monitor ELDs and make sure my guys are not getting any violations, or more importantly, out of services, it's a very rolling job.
It's definitely not a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Still work on the weekend. Have to follow up on loads where they're at. And actually, sometimes it can kind of seem like, I'm sure that we're being, I guess, on them too much, because always checking in on them, making sure things are good, running smoothly, especially when somebody starts at first. And so we got some new guys starting right now, so that makes it even more time consuming when you bring on new guys that need help along the way. But yes, beginning of the year, we were off to a good start, looking at doing about 2.5 times the revenue as last year.
2.5, 3 times, if not more. I mean, it was looking good. You guys remember before Corona, this beginning of the year, it was turning. It was looking good.
Yes. Then Corona hit in March, and saw some down months. March, April, May really kind of slowed down quite a bit, but thankfully the connections we did have helped keep our guys moving. Definitely wasn't fantastic, but it was able to keep them moving, and that's where having these contacts are very important. But I guess from May on, as the summer went on, it just kind of saw a slow progression.
Very slow progression, but
The last month, it just seems like just shot up.
I think it's looking much better than pre-Corona. It's looking great. I'm very impressed, very happy, very excited to see what's going on. Even going to this election, I don't want to touch too much on that, but I was afraid getting closer to the election, there's some care brokers, manufacturing. I thought some people might start looking a little scared, but there must be some confidence out there in what's going on in November for us to be seeing rates like we're seeing. I mean, we got some non-CDL guys out there that are turning some pretty good rates right now. So we're excited. We're happy to see what's going on out there, and I think if we play our cards right in November, it's gonna look great.
Yeah, the guys have been very busy, especially these last couple weeks. We have guys that are good all the way till Thursday for loads. We typically don't do that we knew the brokers and knew they'd be understanding if something would fall through in a load that didn't get them to the next load. But having them book out that far and just doing very well. So with that, it has made us decide to take the plunge of what we were going to do before Corona hit, and we're growing more. We're adding owner operators. We got several that are going to start over the next few weeks, and we're also taking the plunge of moving out to an actual storefront office space.
It's coming soon. That was supposed to be a secret, but you let it out.
No, we was going to let that out, but not
All
some
right.
of the other things.
All right, so we're growing. I mean, we're looking good. We got brokers calling us all the time, asking us to take loads. And we were starting to make some connections with some direct shippers pre-corona. And, you know, honestly, we lost some guys because of that. And so we had to kind of back off from those direct connections. But still, it's back above pre-corona in my opinion, looking better. Brokers are constantly calling us, looking to see if we can fill their loads, and we just can't. So I mean, we are growing, and we're growing pretty fast at this point.
I'd say the majority of loads lately too have not been load boards, but broker connections.
Broker connections.
A few of them in general. Just we've been just saying where our guys are, and they're like, "I'm on it," and they get us a load. So that's how well it's doing that we can use these connections to get these loads. And so our usage of the load board has really cut back, and I foresee that growing more and more as we're bringing in more operators that can be in more areas to
Oh,
help
absolutely.
with this. So yeah, so moving out, that's pretty exciting. We'll have to maybe do an update video when we get that office space up and running. We're going to hire 1 or 2 dispatchers here in the next month, because we definitely need the help. We can't do it all of ourselves. It would just cause everybody to suffer and not get the attention they need. But also some other very exciting things coming up. I'm not going to give too much of it yet, but growing in some different ways and some different avenues, and
Very excited.
adding some things. So don't want to quite give much of that yet, but it'll be exciting. Also working on a pretty exciting contact, like a direct contact. Don't want to give much of that either, but it's somewhere around us, and they supply to Iowa. I don't want to give too much about
Yeah, you
it,
can't
but
give too much, but we got a
it
very
would
good,
be a pretty
strong,
regularly.
very good, strong contact that's very close to us, and a very close personal friend that he's moving into a position that is going to really benefit this company. So exciting things. Very, very happy. Very exciting things. So
That's what we've been doing.
that's what we've been doing, and yeah, we're excited about some different avenues that Carrie and I personally are going to be making once we get this thing kind of up and going. And with that we got a contact that I think once, I'm trying to beat around the bush a little bit here, but very exciting things.
Very exciting things, and just we're excited about moving into an office and expanding. And a little bit with that we can, I guess, say is expanding in different avenues of trucks and our own equipment and just things like that. There's just some exciting things coming up.
Very exciting.
So Ohio Hauler is growing, still here, doing well.
Absolutely, very well. So you ready to move into this portion of it?
I just want to say though, we got some really good guys out there, especially a couple that's been with us since the beginning, and that helps. Having the hardworking guys that are there, running those loads, taking care of the brokers, keeping their stuff in order. 29 inspections.
20, I think it's 20. Well, Michael
forget.
just had that last one. It might be 29 inspections within 2 years.
No auto services.
No
So
auto services.
we owe that, to our guys, making sure they keep on it and do what they're supposed to do. Means the world to do that.
Yeah, thank you guys for that. Again, back to the DOT, the FMCSA regulations. I will state real quick, they look for hours of service, they look for securement, and your pre-trip. I do have a list of commonly causes of out of services. If you guys want that, just shoot me an email at dispatchohl, and let me help you out on that, so you don't get any of those issues. Out of services can really make or break your business. Your insurance company will look at that information. I mean, if they see an out of service, your insurance is going to go up. And the more, if you want to build a company, not just yourself with owner operators or just your own drivers, they look at that stuff. So keep those costs low. The same with brokers. They start seeing out of services, multiple violations. That CSA score goes high. They don't want to give you that load.
No, they're afraid that their freight's going to be stuck on the side of the road or at a way station for however many hours. If you're prone to getting out of services, they don't want their freight delayed and things like that. We've beat other carriers just for the fact of not having any out of services.
We've had many carriers, even at the beginning. There's many that said, we want a year, we want a year and a half. Even there are still some out there say 2 years, and they look at our CSA score and they're like, you know what, we'll move forward with that because your score is so great. You got a great rating. We feel excited about getting that load. You will get that load there. So again, I mean, don't just jump out there. Do your due diligence. Get an FMCSA rule book. Read it, and you should be fine.
So I guess we'll go into, and that kind of touches on this, but what to look for if you're owner operator wanting to lease on to somebody. We get questions like that a lot, all the time. So I guess what Justin was just now talking about is kind of the first thing we were going to talk about, and that's check the carrier's MC for the safer score. And that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely goes with that. I mean, if you gotta do your own research on the carriers they're signing on to. Go to I should have wrote it down. I don't know it. I think it's safer.fmcsa.gov, something like that. Go check their carrier. Maybe just search MC and Safer. It might bring up the website for you. Maybe I can just put it on the screen for you instead of rambling.
That's very important. And not saying that you have to find someone that has nothing against them, because
It happens.
It happens. Hopefully it don't, but it does happen. So it's just more of seeing what their history is. Is it repetitive? Is it a lot of out of services? Does it seem like it's just, like I said, repetitive? If you see one that may have had something happen here or there, it just happens. So
things happen. I mean, securement may come loose, whatever the scenario. But that kind of leads me to, just real quick, I think you should check out 3 different carriers, in my opinion. If you're talking to 3 different carriers, check their MC. Help that base your opinion on that carrier.
Yeah, do your research. Also, obviously, make sure you're reading the lease agreement and asking questions. When we have people wanting to sign on, after our first phone call with them, we send them the lease and we say, listen, no obligation. We want you to read this. We want you to ask us questions. We want to be able to answer those questions. We need to all be on the same page. And, make sure there's nothing hidden in there that wasn't discussed about. So I think that's...
Yeah, I mean, we talk to a lot of guys and say, well, I leased onto this company. Well, what did your lease say about getting out of that lease? What does it say about percentages? And there's quite a few that say, all I do is sign it. Just read it. I mean, if you can't read it and understand it, ask the carrier. If not, I mean, maybe go to an attorney and ask for an interpretation. But please just read the lease, understand it, make sure you're getting the right percentages that they're telling you about.
And the carrier shouldn't be upset if you want to take your time reading it and if you have questions regarding it. Because, like I said, with us, we want to make sure we are on the same page as the people wanting to lease on. Don't want any surprises, don't want any I didn't know this or didn't know that. So if they're hesitant about explaining it or answering questions, that might be a red flag.
Absolutely.
And kind of what Justin's just talking about, make sure it is the percentage you guys talked about and nothing else. So that is a problem we've heard about lately, is people are coming to us that, you know, they were promised a certain percent, but then when they came down to it, it ended up being 10, 12% more after all these other fees were putting in, or it was supposed to be a percent, and then they found out it's so much per invoice and so much for ACHing, and before they knew it, they just diluted their pay.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked to a guy, we actually leased him on, and he was going back and forth on 3 carriers. One of the carriers, they wanted $100 per invoice. So, I mean, we had a guy not last week, the week before that, he ran 7 loads.
Adds up quick.
$700 gone quick. So
make sure it's exactly what you guys discussed and nothing else, and ask those questions like, is there any other fees? Is it just the straight percent? Is it just this much for insurance? Ask those questions. Make sure you're on the same page so that nobody's trying to, you know, take more out of you than they should. We try to be extremely fair about it. So, very important.
So it leads us to the next question. You know, you want to move forward, continue to ask these questions. Ask them about their relationships. Ask them if they got any direct contacts, any broker relationships. You know, ask these questions.
Yeah, that's very important. You know, ask them, like Justin said, about the relationships. Find out, or is it just strictly load boards? You know, or is it some load boards, but you got a lot of connections? Those things are important. It's a very important part. And you kind of skipped as well. Be careful about paying anything to sign on. We've seen this and had people coming to us too, where they want a large amount down for insurance, or they'll pay so much for, what do I want to say, like office fees to process them to get them hired or whatever. We don't charge anything like that. And maybe some of these other carriers have a reason why they do that. Maybe something bad happened that made them want to start having to deposit. But our thought is, you know, we have the signed lease. They're paid every week. If something were to happen and they break the lease, you know, you have that there. We don't expect somebody to come up with a large amount of money to start working with us.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to many people. You know, a lot of people just come to us and ask our opinion. You know, if I sign on to these people, should I pay them? We've seen between $500 and $2,000. To me, that's just extreme. In some ways, I do understand to an extent why a carrier would ask that, but at the same time, I think it's unreasonable to ask that. And you can run your own NVR. A carrier can run their own NVR for $10, $15. So.
And yeah, I mean, there definitely shouldn't be any office costs to hire you on. I mean, that's part of being a carrier. That's what you have to do. You have to do all these things. You know, it's different if somebody's want $500 to a couple $1,000 sign on versus somebody saying, you know, your first check, I'm going to hold back 1 week of insurance until you're finished or something. We don't do that, but I could see why maybe somebody would want to do that, like hold a week of insurance, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's some give and take there.
Absolutely. But when they're asking for $2,000 to bring you on, I think that's unreasonable.
You want to go out somewhere and get a job and pay to get the job.
Pay $2,000. That's our opinion. I guess comment below. Let us know what you think on that. Do you think that's reasonable?
Would you do it?
Would you do it? Just let us know.
Okay. We talked about the honest services and safety rating. And then the other big thing is finding out exactly what you're going to have to pay for insurance. And if you have to pay for insurance, what does it cover? Does it cover general liability, cargo? Is it just liability and cargo? Are you going to have to do comp and collision? Know exactly what it is.
And for you who are new out there to this, you know, there's something called bobtail insurance. Kind of ask your insurance agent about that, and it'll help direct you on how to ask these questions to the carrier. Because
with most carriers, and like us, I think most are probably like us, where our guys are covered for a certain amount of things while on duty with the trailer, you know, or going to a load or whatever. But once they're off duty, so had some camera issues there. But yes, ask how many dispatchers per driver. Very important. You don't want to be with somebody where they're stretched too thin. And that's exactly why we know we need to get some dispatchers, because we're adding guys on. So I guess that kind of covers what to look for. Just mainly, make sure you got a good connection with them and they answer questions. They got a good rating. They seem legit. That's, I think, very important.
I agree. Do your research. Make sure you got the right carrier. Again, kind of back to our gut instinct of hiring. Make sure it's your gut instinct before you're signing on to that company. So, you ready to end that there?
I guess. So that kind of sums up where we've been, what we're going, what to look for, and I guess throw in real quick, we are still looking for some owner-operators. We got some coming over on the next few weeks, so realistically, it'd probably be, our daughter's getting married October 3rd, so we're kind of busy between there and bringing some new guys on and moving out to office. So I'd say we're probably looking for some guys that want to start at the beginning of October.
Yes.
Did I say August 3rd?
I don't know what you said.
I don't know
I
either.
was too busy watching to make sure I was in the screen correctly. So if I'm bobbing around, that's why. I'm trying to put
Oh my
myself in the
goodness.
screen correctly.
So I don't know. It's October 3rd. I don't know what I said at this point. My brain's fried. But yes. So if you're interested, looking for anything, not just hot shot, full size, we're doing that as well. Get a lot of calls for that.
I agree. I was going to say that. So
Sorry, got to it first.
I'm going to say it anyways again. So we're not just a hot shot company. We are a transportation company. So if you got a big rig, you're looking at a big rig, just let us know. Dispatch ohl@gmail.com. And let's move forward.
Yep.
You
Is
done?
that it?
I
Are
hope
you
so.
done?
Well, I'm hoping I'm in the screen correctly.
You're in the screen.
This is all messed up now. I think the camera moved. But anyways, thank you for watching. Please like that. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And I like to do more videos, but sometimes Carrie don't want to. So I got to talk her into it. So here we are. Here's Miss Carrie. And we'll
try
from
to at
there.
least update them once we get moved into a place. Let them see that. So maybe you'll get another video here in a couple weeks.
I hope so.
We'll try hard. At
And
least
I'm-
a short one.
I'm trying to say the last words here.
I
So
know.
if you would just right there and let me continue. God bless. Stay safe.